You're now watching Colorado State University's student-run campus television, Channel 25, weeknights from 8 to midnight.
For Monday, January 19th, 2004, you're watching CTV Sportsfest.
Welcome to CTV Sportsfest. I'm Skip Stewart alongside Melissa Rogers, and we're glad you're joining us as we embark on another exciting semester in Fort Collins.
That's right. Once again, CTV Sportsfest will be bringing you all the latest news and highlights in CSU athletics, as well as some other area teams. We hope you all had a good 2003, but now we begin 2004, and hopefully 2004 will treat CSU athletics better than 2003.
Yeah, we hope so, but so far it has not, as the men's basketball team is now 1-4 since the new year began, and things aren't looking promising. The men's basketball team ended 2003 with an incredible upset of the 21st ranked Purdue Boilermakers on December 30th. They then rang in the new year with a 26-point victory over Pepperdine. But since then, the Rams have gone downhill fast, losing star center Matt Nelson to a sprained knee and starting guard Michael Morris to a pulled hamstring. The Rams have since lost to Montana State and Air Force, and the ailing Rams had no time to feel sorry about themselves this weekend as they had to travel west to Utah to take on 10-4 BYU Saturday without Nelson and Michael Morris. The Delta Center in Provo, where the Rams haven't won since '98, BYU's Rafael Arucho swatted by Matt Williams. Freddie Robinson would take it all the way with the razzle-dazzle under the hoop. Rams up 6-4, but the lead wouldn't last. Mike Hall, the junior college transfer, with the steal and the D to the Dizunk. The Cougars were going on an 18-1 run, thanks in part to shots like this from Mike Rose from way out. Oh, that's all you, kid. CSU was no match inside on Adeujo, splitting the double team in one. Adeujo finished with a game-high 16 points. The Rams, trying to get back in it, would shoot a plethora of threes. Always wanted to say plethora during some highlights. Rarely any would go in, however. CSU shot just 3 of 22 from behind the line. Coach Dale Layer can't watch as the Rams lose bad, 82-53. The Rams fall to 8-7 on the year and 0-2 in conference play. The Cougars improved to 11-4. Freddie Robinson led the Rams with 16 points and 5 boards. Matt Williams added 12 points and 7 rebounds. The Rams find themselves in the cellar of the Mountain West. Not a good way to start. Some big surprises at the top, though. Air Force 2-0 in conference play and 11-2 overall. They are off to their best start ever in their program's 48-year history. San Diego State 2-0 after defeating BYU and UNLV. And it's still early in conference play, but the Rams couldn't have had a worse time to pick up the injury bug. An 0-2 start is not where the Rams wanted to start the conference standings at.
That's exactly right. As we can see, though, that this conference is not going to be the same as the one we saw last year, with Air Force, SDSU, UNLV, and New Mexico all much improved teams. There really isn't an easy win in this year as we saw last year with Air Force and SDSU.
That's right, and a team who's always been good, the Utah Utes, and CSU will have to face them tonight in Salt Lake City.
Last year, Utah and Colorado State split the series, each winning a game on the road. This year, CSU is looking for their first conference win, and Utah is still undefeated in the Mountain West, posting big wins over UNLV and Wyoming. The last time the Rams traveled to Utah, they won the game in the final seconds off a Michael Morris three-pointer. Colorado State hasn't won 2 in a row in the Huntsman Center since the 1988-89 season. The Utes are returning 3 starters and 3 other lettermen, including senior Tim Frost, who, if not contested, could easily give the Rams big problems. Frost has only played in 13 of the Utes' 17 games because of ongoing back problems, and the other player CSU is going to have to contain is senior Nick Jacobson. Last season, Jacobson scored 19 points against the Rams and is averaging 15 for Utah this season. Of course, the biggest concern for CSU right now is the health of their players.
Last November, CSU's junior center Matt Nelson was named the Mountain West Conference's top returning player. That after he was named the conference tournament MVP last March. So it's no secret how good Matt Nelson is. After he sprained his knee January 5th in the first half of a game against Montana State, the Rams saw a huge lead evaporate as they lost to the Bobcats. Since then, the Rams have lost their 3rd straight game, and now it is becoming clear just how much this team needs Matt Nelson to win. The last 2 seasons, Nelson has set a school record for field goal percentage, and he currently ranks 5th on the school's all-time block list. Still, Nelson is only in the middle of his junior year, but he has been injury-prone. He underwent knee surgery last offseason, and his current knee injury has left him out indefinitely. as he has had to watch his team lose their first 2 conference games from the bench. As Nelson remains questionable for tonight's game against Utah, the records indicate just how important he is. Since Nelson began playing as a freshman, the Rams are 35-31 with him and 4-8 without him. And those 4 wins came against Cleveland State, Morris Brown, and 2 against Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne. Not exactly powerhouses. Nelson was in the game for 4 minutes against BYU on Saturday, but it's safe to say he really didn't play. And you can see what happens in conference games when Nelson can't play. Over the past 2.5 seasons, the Rams are 11-16 with him and 0-7 without him.
As if it's difficult enough to try to win games without your star players, the Utah road trip always seems to be the most challenging of the season. And that brings us to this week's Random Ram Fact. The question is, when was the last time that the men's team won both games at BYU and Utah in the same season? We'll have the answer at the end of the show. While the men's team was on the road this past weekend, the women's team opened up Mountain West play at home against BYU and Utah. Coming up, we'll have all the highlights.
And there's a new basketball team in the area. We'll tell you who they are after the break.
University. Melissa Rogers, Skip Stewart. You're watching Campus Television Sportsfest.
Hey Ram fans, CSU basketball is going strong this season, and if you've missed out on the action, it's not too late to join fellow Moby Maniacs in supporting your Rams. The men's and women's basketball teams are looking for your help to give Moby a home court advantage in their upcoming games. Bring your friends, bring your residence hall, bring your roommates, and bring yourself to watch head coaches Dale Lair and Chris Danker lead the Rams to victory in Moby Arena. Admission is always free to students. For more information, call 491-RAMS or visit csurams.com.
Students making 11,000 bike trips a day. Bicycle safety is important on the CSU campus. CSU bike patrol officers work to maintain safety and regulate bicycle traffic. They need your help. Obey all posted signs. Make sure you have a light on your bike at night. Walk your bike in dismount zones. Yield to pedestrians at all times. By doing these things, you will be maintaining bicycle safety at CSU. For more information, call 491-6425.
Welcome back to CTV Sportsfest. Well, we figured out that the men's team is struggling. Right now, the women's team is holding their own.
Yeah, the women are off to a good start despite a tough schedule they've had. A 9-4 record and winners of 3 straight into this weekend's homestand against BYU and Utah. Thursday night, the Rams opened up conference play at Moby Arena against BYU. The last time the Rams played the Cougars, CSU won an overtime thriller by 1 after BYU couldn't score in its last possession. This time around would be very similar. After BYU jumped out to a 9-0 lead, CSU senior Hasai Ferruccio showed some much-needed leadership giving the Rams their first bucket. Later on, Julie Sullivan, not to be denied, she would finish with 7 points and 5 assists. Ambrosia Anderson would be dominant while she was in, scoring 12 points in just 24 minutes. The star of the game was Utah native Melissa Dennett, though. She would record her second career double-double, and she is fired up. Danielle Say Cheese Man continues BYU's strong start in the first half, shooting 56% as a team. Sophomore Lindsey Thomas, Rams would trail by 6 at the half. Second half, Thomas again. Oh, it's all good. CSU freshman Annika Walseth from downtown. She's young, but she's money. Another Ram freshman, Kylie O'Dwyer, would give the Rams their first lead with 6:53 to play. Ferruccio would extend the lead to 4, but let's flash back to last year's finish now. Final moments, Joy Jenkins would come up with a huge block, and BYU's last shot here would fall short. The Rams won 71-70 in overtime. Back to Thursday's game. Rams up 2, 6 seconds left. Julie Solomon would drive on the same basket. The shot rolls off the rim. The Rams would win by 2, 54-52. The Rams improved to 10-4. Vanessa Espinosa had a team-high 12 points, and Melissa Dennett, who BYU recruited, added 11 points and 11 boards.
Then on Saturday night, the Rams had their hands full, this time with the Utah Utes. CSU started the night off well. With this layup by Melissa Dennett, Utah, on the other hand, didn't start off so hot. Midway through the first half, and the Utes hadn't scored in almost 7 minutes, even though they had multiple chances. Here, Kim Smith misses, and Vanessa Espinosa will eventually end up with the board. The Rams out-rebounded the Utes 13-9 in the first half. A tray by Joy Jenkins gives Colorado State an 8-point lead with under 5 minutes to go in the first half. And then a nice give and go by Lindsey Thomas. She gets 2 of her first 8 first-half points, and the Rams go into the locker room leading 24-19. Just when it seems like CSU had control of the game, Shauna Thorburn makes the game turn into Utes' favor. Basket's good. Thorburn will also make the free throw, and Utah's all of a sudden only down by 1. Utah definitely executed better offensively in the second half than the first, this time converting second chance opportunities into 8 points. Here, Kim Smith finds Thorburn behind the arc, and Utah takes a 1-point lead with 11:37 to go. CSU and Utah would trade threes. Here, Jenkins' 3 gives the Rams the lead, but Thorburn once again regains it for the Utes, 50-48 with 4:33 to go. But 1 minute later, Hisai Ferruccio is whistled for a foul. She'll slam the ball down, which will result in a technical foul and 4 free throws for Utah Smith. Smith sinks 2 of the 4 and puts the Utes up by 4. Now with under a minute to go, Jenkins hits another 3 and the Rams are still in it, 52-51 Utah. The Utes would score, and CSU just needed an answer. Melissa Dennett misses the layup, and that would be it for the Rams. 55-51 the final. Utah wins their first 2 conference games of the season, while CSU splits opening weekend and moves to 10-5 on the year. Vanessa Espinosa led the Rams with 15 points and 4 rebounds, while Joe Jenkins added 13 points and grabbed 6 rebounds. But for top honors for the night went to the Utes' Shauna Thorburn, who lit up the Rams for 25 points, 6 rebounds, while going 3 from 9 from behind the arc.
Smith just came out and played like great players. They were more aggressive. They really sought out their shot. We did a great job on especially Thorburn in the first half. She came out in the second half trying to drive it. We didn't offer help to each other. And then we had kids started to get kind of soft, and they backed off and gave them wide open looks, and they're too good shooters. You can't do that.
Or just the mental mistakes we made, leaving people wide open for threes, or not communicating on screens and leaving them wide open, or not defending the back picks. Things like that are just mental mistakes, lack of communication, and definitely takes the crowd out of the game when we need them the most.
I mean, when we played there last year, we got beat pretty bad. It's kind of like a revenge thing, big rivalries. We just got to get them back when we head to Utah.
The conference standings are always interesting for the first few weeks, and for this first week in the Women's Mountain West standings, we see a familiar leader at the top and a very unfamiliar name at the bottom of the standings. Utah leads the pack with the only 2-0 mark, followed by UNLV and New Mexico at 1-0. CSU sits in 4th, and BYU finds themselves in last place with an 0-2 record, but that will probably change as the season goes on. And while the Mountain West teams were opening up conference play this weekend, a new team in the area was beginning their first season.
Yeah, even though it is the off-season of the WNBA, it doesn't mean that there isn't any professional women's basketball being played here in the States.
And right now, Fort Collins and Colorado will get a chance to play host to some professional women's basketball. Since opening this past fall, the Budweiser Event Center in Larimer County has welcomed a variety of organizations through its doors, from minor league hockey team the Colorado Eagles to Bill Cosby and Matchbox 20. This past Saturday, another sports team debuted on their home court, the Colorado Chill. In April of 2003, the National Women's Basketball League announced the addition of a 6th team to its league, the Colorado Chill. The Chill joined the Houston Stealth, Dallas Fury, Springfield Spirit, Chicago Blaze, and Birmingham Power for the 7th year of the NWBL. The league season consists of 22 regular season games falling during the off-season of the WNBA, allowing for many WNBA players to play professionally during the off-season. The Colorado Chill have 6 WNBA players on their roster and open play with their inaugural game Saturday night against the Houston Stealth. The Chill's roster is also packed full of former Colorado State players, including Angie Gordon-Nelp, Teresa Hintz, Shannon Randalls, Becky Hammond, and Katie Cronin. However, Hammond is not expected to play for another month because she's still recovering from a torn ACL. Another highlight on the Chill's roster is Ruth Riley. Riley comes to the Chill from current WNBA champions, the Detroit Shock. With such an experienced roster, head coach Jade Strom is looking for the Chill to make their inaugural season a memorable one. Allison Curtin gets the Chill's first ever points on the fast break, and Tamisha Jackson pulls up, knocks down the J. She'd score 25 in the game, and Detroit holds on to a 3-point lead at the half. The Chill would dominate the second half. Helen Darling, that is, kicks it out to Edna Campbell for the open three. Campbell would end with a team-high 24. The defending national champs would get stuck, but the Chill finished strong. Katie Cronin with the deep two, and the Chill would grab their first ever victory with a win, 83-72. After their first
pleased with how our team executed all the way around. I mean, we stumbled here and there, but they bounced right back. And to be able to do that in their first time out against a top-notch team in the league, I'm just really, really proud of them. Really impressed with their effort and their abilities on the court.
Was it nice?
After their first exciting win on Saturday night, there wasn't much time for celebration as it was off to Chicago for their second game against the Blaze on Sunday. And the Chill lose their second game of the year, 84-70 at the hands of the Blaze. Colorado was led by Katie Cronin, 16 points, and Ruth Riley added 13 points for the Chill. Well, the Chill look like they're going to be an exciting team to watch this season. Coming up next, we'll tell you about a piece of the men's basketball team that's heading to the Basketball Hall of Fame.
And that's not the only thing that is going to be leaving CSU soon. A piece of the football coaching staff is headed to the NFL. We'll tell you who and where when we return.
The Lori Student Center is the place to be. It's the place for taking care of business and the place to buy and sell textbooks. It's the place for staying connected, student organizations, leadership programs, and more, all right here. It's the place to eat. It's the place for entertainment. There's always something happening at the LSC. Movies, art exhibits, and special performances. Check it out online. The Lori Student Center is definitely the place to be.
It gets me to class.
It's all about efficiency.
We're going to the mall.
It's my second set of wheels.
Transport, wherever life takes you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ramblers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday night. Welcome to the Ramblers. I am Travis Huntington.
I'm Tyler Krause.
I'm Chris Dittmer. It's a great game this weekend.
Another huge game for the Rams.
Don't forget to tune in to the Ramblers every Tuesday night from 6 to 8 right here on 90.5 KCSU.
Award-winning campus television, winner of the 2003 Heartland Regional Emmy Award for Outstanding Student Achievement.
If you happen to be in Moby Arena on December 30th and weren't one of the 1,000 or two who left early, you might have heard you might have heard by now that you missed one of the most exciting finishes in CSU and college basketball history.
Some of us, like myself, were in San Francisco preparing for the bowl game, and some people were just out of town for the holidays. But the national recognition keeps coming in for the CSU men's basketball team after the thrilling upset against then-ranked 21st Purdue Boilermakers. And now the Basketball Hall of Fame is calling to get their hands on a piece of history. Michael Morris's 2 3-pointers with under a second remaining have cemented him into college basketball history forever.
Working against McKnight in the backcourt, spins, has some room. Now will pull up from 3, right wing. Good, 0.7 seconds left. We'll see what they do. Parkinson. We'll see what they do. Parkinson to inbound a tip. Morris has it, top of the key, fires it.
Man, it was just a pretty exciting game. Everybody was all into it. It was just a great moment in our history. It's like, never had anything like that happen before. I've never been a part of anything like that in the stands or in the game. Like the day after that, I was on the Dan Patrick show in the morning. I got like the Hall of Fame shoes and stuff like that. And I just sent them off yesterday after I did a little photo thing for the Hall of Fame in Springfield. And they asked for the shoes because of the game.
The Basketball Hall of Fame is located in Springfield, Massachusetts, just 3 miles away from Springfield College, where James Naismith invented the game in 1891. The hall opened in 1960 and recently moved to a new state-of-the-art $35 million museum a year and a half ago.
After losing 3 assistant coaches last offseason, Sonny Lubick has just lost another. Co-offensive coordinator and offensive line coach John Benton has left the team to be a Ram elsewhere. Benton will join the NFL St. Louis Rams coaching staff as their offensive line coach. Benton has been on Lubick's staff the past 9 seasons as the offensive line coach and the past 3 as co-offensive coordinator. The previous offensive coordinator to Benton was Steve Fairchild, whom Benton will team up with once again as Fairchild became St. Louis's offensive coordinator a year ago. Expectations were high for CSU football last season with many preseason rankings and 15 starters returning. The Rams were looking to achieve one of their best seasons in the program's 107-year history. But expectations fell very short as the Rams finished the year with a 7-6 record. They did, however, make it to their 5th straight bowl game, and Bradley Van Pelt made his way into the record books, becoming only the 4th quarterback in NCAA history to record over 5,000 passing yards and 2,000 rushing yards. CTV editor Doug Starkey helps us close a chapter on another year of CSU football that saw plenty of highlights. Rams lose 13 starters and 20 seniors from last year's squad and will have to grow up fast this fall as they face one of the toughest schedules they've ever had to play. Their first game against in-state rival CU will not be at Invesco, but at Folsom Field in Boulder. They then will travel to the LA Coliseum to take on defending national champions, the USC Trojans. Their first home game will be against the Big Ten's Minnesota Gophers, and their last out-of-conference game against Miami of Ohio, whose star quarterback Ben Roethlisberger will forego his final 2 years of eligibility and enter the NFL draft in April. That's about the only good news for now with next year's schedule. And while college football season has ended, hockey is in midseason form here at CSU and professionally.
The Rams hockey team took on BYU and Michigan over the weekend, and the minor league Colorado Eagles hockey team were at the Bud Center. We'll show all the highlights next.
Legion Classifieds, how may I help you?
Place it, find it, buy it, sell it, rent it. All this and more with the Rocky Mountain Collegian Classifieds, as low as $4.50 a day. Call 491-1686, 491-1686.
Campus service officers are the eyes and ears of the CSU Police Department. They provide safe walks to all students and are available 7 days a week. To request a safe walk, pick up an emergency phone on campus, call the Safe Walk line, or simply ask a CSO on duty. CSOs patrol and provide walks from Constitution to Matthew Street and Prospect to Mulberry Street. To be safely escorted to your destination, call 491-1155.
90.5.
90.5.
90.5.
90.5.
KCSU.
KCSU.
New music
now.
New music now.
We serve the CSU campus and community
24 hours a day,
7 days a week, y'all.
We're run by students, for students.
90.5 KCSU. KCSU.
Bringing you all the newest music
now.
Now.
Now. This is 90.5
KCSU.
While we were all getting ready to come back to school last week, the CSU hockey team was preparing for big games against Michigan and BYU, starting with Michigan last Friday night at Epic Ice Arena. CSU gives it their all, but they fall just short of pulling off the upset against Michigan, losing 4-3. On Saturday night, where CSU hosted the BYU Cougars, forward Jeff Mann scores the first goal off a two-man advantage play. Mike Holthuser gets the goal off the breakaway goal that is, to put the Rams up 2-0. Another power play goal, this time by Joe Komorowski, who would score another in the third and get 2 goals on the night. Starting goaltender Jared Hillier makes the breakaway save. Hillier would allow only 1 goal on the night. Forward Josh Bowers finishes the Cougars off with CSU's 12th goal. Rams win 2-1.
After the Fort Collins Loveland Greeley area was awarded a minor league hockey team last March by the Central Hockey League, the expansion franchise was quick to name themselves the Colorado Eagles and sign their first player, former LA King Phil Crow. Since then, the Eagles have been off to a great start. They are atop the Northwest Division in standings and are second in the league in points. The Eagles have already played 39 games and have 25 left on the schedule. One of those games played was last Friday night against the Tulsa Oilers. The Eagles had their 21st consecutive sellout at Bud Center. They currently rank 5th for all minor league teams in attendance. That includes baseball. Eagles early Carlos Zeranis puts back the rebound, 2-0 Eagles. Tulsa would fight back. Marion Coletta finds Jason Birmingham in the slot. We're all tied up at 2. In the third, Eagles down 1 until Daniel Bohack hits Lee Ruff. We're not at 3. The fans rejoice. And that's not the way to do it, but that's pretty ugly. In the CHL, there are no ties. And after an overtime period and a shootout, we're in sudden death shootout. The 14th shooter, Phil Crow, puts it in the 5-hole, and the Eagles win 4-3. Saturday night, the Eagles traveled to Albuquerque to take on the New Mexico Scorpions, and the Eagles won easily 5-1. Riley Nelson recorded a goal and 2 assists, and Ryan Bach picked up his 21st win of the year, stopping 23 shots.
Well, since it's almost the end of the first show, it's time for the answer to the first weekly Random Ram Fact. And if you don't remember the question, don't worry, here's a quick reminder. When was the last time that the CSU men's basketball team swept the Utah road trip? Well, there's the answer. 1988-89 season, which was also the last time, if you remember, the Rams won 2 straight at the University of Utah. Don't forget, CSU Utah tonight, Big Monday on ESPN at 10 p.m. Right. We'll forgive you for not watching this show during that time, just once.
And be sure to join us next week for highlights of the men's game against SDSU and much, much more. Be sure to watch CTV every weeknight from 8 to midnight for the latest in CSU sports, news, and entertainment. For Melissa Rogers, I'm Skip Stewart, and until we see you again, have a good one.
For news, sports, and entertainment, you're watching Campus Television, Channel 25, weeknights from 8 to midnight.